Welcome to Ben the Menace. It's been a couple weeks. Kelvin, my videographer, you guys don't know who he is. You guys can't see him. You don't even know he exists. As far as you know, I'm alone in a room, and I've just piped. You know how a lot of the time these days you'll look at a clip on YouTube of someone doing stand-up, and you look underneath it, and someone goes, "Those laughs are fake. You're piping in laughs." They're like mad. And a lot of the time it's just people what that shows you, if anything, is that some of the stuff that big groups of people laugh at is stupid. It's bad. Like, they're like, how could they laugh at that? It's like, you'd be, if you've hung out in comedy clubs at all in your life for any extended period of time, you would be fucking blown away by how dumb the things that people will laugh at are. If you think that in order to make a big group of people laugh, you have to make the most genius, perfect joke, you are so far from the truth. If anything, I would say the most genius, perfect joke probably has a 50-50 chance of working in an average room. What will work really well is saying, like, this is going to sound a little racist, but that's fine. If anyone's still watching at this point of the podcast, you're ready for some racism. If you've hung around for 3 minutes, you're ready for some racism. If you're like, growing up Mexican, you're going to get a huge laugh after that. If you open your joke with, like, in my house, in a Mexican, huge laugh. You're going to get a huge fucking laugh. In a fill-in-the-blank house, this is how it goes down. It's like, let me guess, you're saying something that George Lopez has said before, and it's not going to be funny. Maybe it was funny the first time George Lopez said it in 1994. In 2023, it's been beaten to death. The premise has been beaten to death. I do wish that I would go on as, like, the white comic. I would go on and be like, growing up in a White House. People are like, you mean you're the president? What are you fucking talking about? Growing up in the White House? Growing up with white parents. You know how white parents are. I wish I would do that. I wish I was the kind of guy who would do that. White parents be like... There's so much comedy like that. I've actually been trying to open my sets talking about, like, my race and how it's not applicable. Like, a lot of comics do open their set going like, they basically, without being so on the nose, they basically go, I'm this, I'm Egyptian parents are like this, I'm dating a woman from Jordan, and Jordanian people are like this, and you mix them together and you get Puerto Rican. Like, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that shit going on, and I have been trying to play with that and be like, I'm Jewish. I grew up in San Francisco, so I grew up atheist and gay and Chinese. I like the Chinese part. Because San Francisco is there are more gay and Chinese people in San Francisco than in any other city in America. There's so many, and none of them are the same. Like, there's no gay Chinese people. Because Chinese people, a lot of the Chinese people in San Francisco are living like they're in China. They're like Chinese. Like, actually Chinese. Like, they don't speak English, and they have, like, little pink bags that say thank you on them in Chinese, and they're just, like, shuffling around Chinatown, and they don't leave. It's like they live in China. Those people are not gay. And then there's a lot of gay people also. So there's gay people and Chinese people and almost nobody else in the city. And tech people. At this point, San Francisco is 1/3 gay, 1/3 Chinese, and 1/3 autistic. And that's it. That's all you got. And I would say that, like, I know that it sounds like I'm maybe racist and homophobic and anti-autism, which maybe I am. I don't know. But I have a feeling that there aren't that many gay autistic people, and those super Chinese people are not that gay. There might be some Chinese autistic people, but probably not. Those are 3 separate populations. And the only group out of those 3 that has not a lot of money is the Chinese. The autistics and the gays in San Francisco have a ton of money. I don't know what led me down this path, but my point is, stand-up comedy has headed in this direction where you're like, okay, let me tell you my pronouns, my race, and it's like, how about be funny? Who gives a fuck? I need to tell you my whole. Why don't I give you my social security number before I start? You know what I mean? Like, I have to tell you everything about me. I have to tell you how many, what generation American I am, how many years I've been here, and that leads to the notion that leads to the funniest stuff is crazy. You know what I mean? Once I tell you why I look the way I do, then I'm gonna be funny. It's like, just be funny. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, you guys probably thought I was Hispanic. I'm actually gay. I'm actually, whatever it is. There's a lot of that where it's like, I love the black guy who goes on stage and he's like, yeah, my name's Quincy Adams. I get a lot of job interviews. Don't get a lot of jobs. There's a lot of those where they're like, basically they're like, those guys who hire people, they hate black people. And it's like, that might have been true 40 years ago. I think that they actually, and again, I'm really heading down a crazy path so far in this podcast. I'm almost positive that companies like Facebook hire more black people now so that they don't seem racist. So Quincy Adams, you got a job, baby. You got a job coming your way. You're like, hey, my name's Quincy. I get a lot of job interviews. And in 2023, that joke is, and I get a lot of jobs. That's not even funny. What the fuck? What's your point? And the fact of the matter is, what this guy is saying is, I used to apply to a lot of jobs, and I gave up. This guy's going, my name's Quincy Adams. I stopped applying to jobs. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. It's late February 2023. Valentine's Day just happened. Me and my girlfriend, basically, we say we don't celebrate it. We go, hey, who cares about Valentine's? We just don't have any money. It's just not worth trying. It's not worth putting the pressure on each other to spend extra money. And it's on me. It would be on me. She's not gonna. What's she gonna do? Buy me a bunch of chocolates and a heart, like and a fucking butt plug? I mean, women don't get men's stuff. Men get women's stuff. I got her a card, and it was too expensive. I got her a $10 card. These cards are out of control now. I don't know. And I'm not gonna write anything handwritten. I'm not gonna write some sweet 7-paragraph handwritten letter. My girlfriend does that. She'll like stay at my parents' house and then she'll write them like a 3-page note that my parents like don't even, they're like, what's up with this bitch writing all this? No. They read it and they love it, but I just can't. Maybe I'm just too narcissistic and too selfish. I can't do that. So what I do is I spend way too much money on a card where they wrote it all for me. What I actually do is I get the loudest card possible. I get one that's like, I got one for Christina for Christmas that was like, you pull the note out that says like, love, Ben, and it goes, to the best person in the world, you're the great. It was like it was almost like Donald Trump in the card. You're the greatest. I love you. Fantastic. You're the best. Some people say you're not the best, but you're the best. It was like Trump in the card. And I told someone about that. I was like, I get these cards for her where there's like people screaming the whole time in the card, just the loudest card possible. And they were like, why do you do that? And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, probably because I have some sort of emotional problems, and I can't be honest about how I feel with anybody, and I have to convey that I care about someone in the most sarcastic way. Like, isn't this dumb that I love you? That's pretty much what a card like that does. Yeah, happy birthday. I'm going like, I don't know how to express emotion, so here's the stupidest thing I could find. Isn't love dumb? Yeah, so that's where I realized that talking to that guy. So that's what Valentine's Day taught me. It's a nice lesson. And Valentine's Day happened after the Super Bowl, which was rigged. For all of you at home who say it wasn't rigged, you fucking idiots. I mean, if you think it wasn't rigged, you must love the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's who won. That's who New York decided. You know what? During the game when they go, hey, we're gonna go take a look at, we're gonna go see what New York says about that call. When they look at like a review of a call, they go, we're gonna go call New York and see what they say. New York is the people who choose who wins the Super Bowl. That's what I'm learning over time. Kansas City got 2 third downs against the Bengals. They let them play a second third down after they didn't get a first down, and they ended up winning the game against the Bengals in the AFC Championship. And then in the Super Bowl, they called a pass interference on a pass that was never going to be caught by the wide receiver. Game over. The NFL wanted the Chiefs to win. So I said that to someone, and he was like, if they rigged the Super Bowl, there would have been an insurrection at NFL headquarters. They would have raided NFL. It would have been like January 6th at NFL. I'm like, you mean they would have broke in and done nothing? That's what they did at the insurrection. Well, what's your point? That's essentially what they did. A bunch of people on the internet said it was rigged, and then they go, whatever. It's rigged. It's got to be rigged. Yeah, it's rigged. I think it's rigged. Yes, it's rigged. Who do you think's going to win next year? They're like, yeah, okay. They burned themselves out, and it's over. And I'm with them. I love football. My life is so devoid of meaning at this point. I enjoyed the entire NFL season. It was rigged. They decided who was going to win. And I'm looking forward to next season. I cannot wait to see who they pick to win the Super Bowl next. I cannot wait to see who they rig it for next year. That's where I'm at. It's WWE wrestling. It's a theatrical rendition of the NFL. You ever seen the musical Rent, where everybody gets AIDS? It's like that, but for the NFL. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if during the NFL season next year, everybody gets AIDS. You haven't seen that? You haven't seen that South Park where they make fun of it? Everybody has AIDS. You haven't seen that? Okay, South Park makes fun of it, but Rent is a musical where everyone gets AIDS in New York City. And the joke I was making there is that the NFL is so rigged that I think that in order to increase viewership and get people excited and make it more dramatic, they're just going to give everyone in the NFL AIDS. So the entire NFL will have AIDS, and that'll be fun to watch because people are going to be dying during games. Yeah, someone's going to go out for a pass and die of AIDS. It was disappointing. Okay, so I got to get into a little story. So Calvin was with me. This is such a long thing. I'm gonna do my best to set it up properly. So Calvin, my videographer, was with me at Oh, and also I'm getting sick too. Like I think I have the next round of COVID or something. It never ends. Have you seen that people are wearing more masks? Is there like a new variant? How many fucking variants are there going to be? I think I just have a cold, but everybody's got COVID. Everyone thinks they have AIDS. Yeah, it's not cold season though. Flu season's ending, isn't it? What, doesn't it start in December? Well, look up flu season. I think it's post-COVID. Everything's flu season. They're like, well, it's flu in June. It's flu season. So we were at if you've ever watched this podcast before, we were at one of the worst clubs in America called the Comedy Chateau. Are you looking up flu season? December and February. Yeah, so it's over. Why are we getting more masks now? We are technically in February, but February's almost over, and I'm seeing more masks than ever. Okay, so I'm at the Comedy Chateau. You've heard of it. Worst club in America. Have you heard of it? Bringer shows. The owner of the club, there's a contract that says he has to do time on every show there. You have to let him go on stage. He goes on and ruins the show. It happens like clockwork. Everybody, like, at this show, people were doing pretty well. Felix, the owner of the club, went on. Bad show afterwards. He goes on and sings comedy songs with a guitar about getting raped in prison in front of black audiences. He talks about getting raped by black people singing, and then goes, thanks, enjoy the rest of the show. Show's over. By that point, the show was over. He's ruined the show. Does 15 minutes. Just a joke. What is he doing? Like, he's going to do that till he dies? What are you getting out of this? He's just jerking himself off in his own club. If you guys remember The Office, we used to do this podcast out of an office. I'm not a wealthy man. I used to co-lease it with a bunch of other comedians. And there were like 7 or 8 of us, and we split it that many ways. It was very nice. It's nice to be able to rent an office for $160 a month. It's nice. One of those tenants, he came on late because another tenant left. He could never pay me on time. It was kind of a disaster. It was just a coincidence that he was black. I was about to say he was a nice guy. He wasn't. He was a piece of shit. He was. And if you're at home thinking, like, Ben, why are you saying that about a black person? If he was white, I would say the same thing. It has nothing to do with race. There are black people I like. There are black people I don't like. There are white people I like. There are white people I don't. I hate to say it. This was one of the black people who I don't like. He's out. They're out there. He's one of them. Yeah, there's more than one. Not that many, but he was one of them. I'm not going to tell you what my number is, but I never let it exceed 25. So this guy didn't pay me for 3 months, and then paid me $400 to cover his rent or something like that. Yeah, he didn't pay me for 3 months, and then he paid me $400. And then I think we had 2 months left in the whole lease, and he never paid me for the rest of that. And when he paid me $400 for 3 months, I think that was $6 more than what he owed me for the 3 months. And I texted him about it, and I go, you haven't paid for the last 2 months. What's going on? He goes, I paid you extra for the last 3. I'm like, yes, $6 extra. That covers nothing. He was just that kind of guy. I couldn't tell what the fuck was going on with him. He only would pay me on Apple, which I've never dealt with. Most people Venmo, PayPal, Cash. He's using Apple Cash, Apple Pay. Who only uses that? Is there a reason people do that? Is there some sketchy shit people do on Apple Pay? I bet if there is, he was doing it. Some sort of Apple Pay scam. He's part of that. So I know that he hosts at the Comedy Chateau sometimes, which I've done before. And this will help for the rest of the story. I've hosted at the Comedy Chateau. They don't pay you. It's not work. They used to pay me with food, but I don't even think they do that anymore. You introduce 17 different comics who are doing roughly 5 minutes apiece, and you don't do any stage time the whole time. You do 5 minutes up top. It's a joke. It's like it's not worth doing. I'd rather do an open mic. And you're going up in front of people who went to go see like a family member of theirs. When I went up at the end of this show that I was doing there, there were people in the audience who were like, like when I walked on stage, people were asleep. There were multiple people like. It was a 2+ hour show. The owner did a set. There's 17 people going up. There's a million. There's drop-in spots. It's a fucking joke of a show. I literally went up. People got up to go to the bathroom as I'm being introduced. There's a guy like, and then I look to the other side and there's someone like, it's like I'm performing for The Last of Us, like zombies. Everybody, Ben Herwitz. People are clapping. Just staring. Nothing's going to make you want to perform less or be less excited to perform. Is that a cough drop? Could I get one of those? Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm falling apart. It's fucking new COVID variant. This might mess up my voice, but let's just do what we can. This might have been the worst decision I could have made. Yeah. I need it to get smaller, but that's right. It's going to help in the long term. So people are half asleep in this venue. It's a bad show. It's a bad venue. It's a bad place. Everything's bad about it. The guy who runs it somehow hired an ex-Playboy playmate to be his his assistant and co-runner, manager. And she does everything he says. Why? You're a gorgeous Russian woman who used to be naked in TV shows and stuff. What the fuck are you doing? Go do stand-up. She had a big TikTok following. And now she just answers to this guy and does spots in these horrible shows. I don't know what her deal is. I didn't bring anybody to the show. And I walked up to her at the beginning of the show, and she goes, oh, I thought we cut you from the show because you didn't bring anybody. I go, no, I got a couple people. Just my videographer. Only Kelvin came. And she goes, oh, okay, well, no hello, how are you? Oh, I thought we cut you. I'm like, her name's Irina Voronina. I'm like, bitch, I've seen you naked. Don't fucking talk to me like that. Type in your own name on Google and then talk to me like that. Just naked videos of you. Taking yourself seriously at a fucking joke of a comedy club. So, the guy who has been avoiding me, I've texted him weekly trying to get my money. I paid $200 out of my own pocket to cover the rent that he owed me still. $200. He's the host. He's the host of the show that I'm doing. And I'm just like, how exciting is this? I'm going to get my fucking money back. This is exciting. I walk up to him. I'm like, I got him cornered. He can't do anything. I walk up to him so stupidly. What I should have done was held a gun to his head. That's what I should have done. I should have been intense and been like, where the fuck is my money? I should have done the equivalent of hold a gun to his head. I should have been like, hey man, what the fuck? That's what I should have done. Instead, I was like, hey, what's going on, man? How you been? And he's like, oh, good. He's like not making eye contact. I can tell he's like kind of scared. And I go, I'm gonna keep texting you about the rent. Why the fuck would I say that? I'm gonna keep texting. What a bitch. What a pussy. Oh, hope you pay me soon. That's what I said. I'm gonna keep asking, and you'll probably never respond. I mean, that's basically what I said. And he goes, all right, man. And then he walks away. And then I was like, what the fuck did I just do? I just made a huge mistake. I should have asked him, what the fuck what's going on, man? Why didn't you pay me? You owe me this money. You used my studio. It's not my studio, but you used the studio that we all share. And for whatever reason, I was collecting the fucking rent. Because the guy who was supposed to do that moved to Oklahoma. Because his mom's dying, or he has a good reason. I don't know. Not his fault. He's an okay guy. But it wasn't fun to collect the rent. Collecting rent from unsuccessful comedians is basically just like not collecting. No one pays you. There's nothing to collect. Nobody wants to fucking pay you. There was a guy who won a $1.9 million settlement for a car accident that he got into. He didn't pay me on time. That guy he paid me, but he ended up paying me. But he would pay me late. I'm like, you have $1 million. And he's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm like, how the fuck did you forget? This is like less than 0.001% of the money you have. And he's like, I'll get it to you in a week. I'm like, why? Now. Pay me now. Give me $10,000. What the fuck's wrong with you? He's got money for no reason, you fucking freeloader. Yeah, you injury lawyer cuck. Pay me. So, did I say the guy's name? No. Good. I'm not going to say his name. But he's a black host at the Comedy Chateau. There's multiple black hosts there. One's a lesbian, one's straight. He's the guy. Not a lesbian. There are plenty of people who perform at that horrible club. He's one of those people. That's all you need to know. So if you're ever at the Comedy Chateau and you see people asleep, he might be on stage. If you're ever at one of those shows where people are almost dead in the audience, people are like mid rapid eye movement sleep. Yeah, people are having vivid dreams. If you've ever been to a show at the Comedy Chateau where people are snoring, this guy might be hosting the show. There's a chance. Because that happened to me on Friday night. I went up at 12:30 and there were people literally recuperating during the show. So I made the mistake of not cornering him, not saying anything about the money really, just kind of alluding to it. And he walks away. He's standing in the lobby. So I go, what the fuck did I do? I go in the lobby, and I go, do you not feel bad? Do you feel bad about not paying me? I was like, do you have any? Is there any sort of guilt? You owe me $200. You don't feel guilty about that? And then he walks away again. No words. Really weird. And then, if I remember right, he ran up at me and was like, "Hey man, I don't remember. It was so. What he said was so. He got really close to me, like he was trying to fight me. And think about it, like logically. So this guy owes me $200. He should. It's the date of this show was February 17th. The last date of our lease was January 14th, which means that he owed me the money on January 1st. So it's been a month and a half, more than a month and a half, that he didn't pay me the $200 that he owes me. And he's threatening me. I should be doing that to him. He's like, "Hey, motherfucker, what the fuck?" And like, if anybody should be doing that, it's me. Don't come at me like that, man. You know, if anybody should be in anybody's face, it's me against him, not him against me. He should have run out of the fucking venue. He's like chest up, mad at me. Like we can take this. Let's take this outside. I'm like, so we're gonna fist fight over the $200? Just pay me. I'm like, no, I don't want to fight you. I don't. I don't have a problem with you. I don't even think of you as a human being. You're like a subhuman guy. You just owe me money. You know what I mean? It's like, this isn't man to man. This isn't like, you gotta be a man. You know, man to man. His attitude was like, this is man to man shit. Like, you came at me, I come, and I'm like, no. I don't even think of you as a you. You're not even a being. I don't like, you're a guy who doesn't have $200. You're like in the caste system, you're the very bottom. You're like a guy with leprosy in the caste system. What do they call them? Well, yeah. No, what's the bottom caste? You're like an untouchable. I'm like one caste above you. But you're just like a guy who can't pay $200 on time. You're scum. You're just scum. I don't want to fight you. I barely know your name. I don't care about you. You're hosting the Comedy Chateau, a horrible comedy club. I have no respect for you. I didn't have respect for you before you were a tenant at the office. But I have even less respect for you now because you're paying your rent, which is minuscule. The smallest amount of rent you could possibly. You're paying rent that people paid in like 1920 for apartments. $100, $150 a month. When's the last time anybody paid that to rent anything? Maybe you pay that to rent like a camcorder. not a fucking office. You had access to an office and equipment for $150 a month, and you're coming at me like it's an attack on your manhood. You're not a man. You're a fucking child. You're a baby. You're a pussy and a baby. You ran away from me. I remember he came in the office once when he owed me money. I was in there working, and he got all shaky and weird. Like, oh, so I'm sorry. Here, can you come out and talk to me? And I was just like, I don't fucking care. Just pay me. I was like, just pay me when you can. I got to go. And I could tell he was relieved. And guess what? He didn't pay me. He's like, okay, cool. Thanks, man. Didn't pay me for a month plus. He's a piece of shit. But he came at me like he wanted to fight me because I called him out. The problem was that somebody actually called him. I'm sure he's just running bullshit. This is the kind of guy who would get killed. Like if he had a business deal with the wrong person, this guy's dead. I don't know what he's doing, but he who the fuck is gonna have any respect for you or not want to physically harm you if you keep doing shit like this? Just hiding from people and owing them money? So he comes at me like that. And and then Kelvin got in the middle. I don't remember exactly what he said after that. But Kelvin kind of broke it up, and then he kind of came at you a little bit, like he was gonna fight you. It was all bullshit. He's not gonna fight anybody. And this is he really values this job of hosting at the Comedy Chateau. I wouldn't, because it's a bullshit job. But you're really gonna fight me in this place that you think is a cool place to work, where you don't get paid? Here, you say it in the mic.
He walked away after talking to me, and then the owner came up and saw there was a commotion, and then he was like, "What's going on here?" And then I just looked away, and I just shook my head and raised my hand. I was like, I don't know, he's like threatening me or something. And the owner was like, "What?" And he just ran after him.
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah, the owner's an idiot too. A huge idiot. So then later in the night, first of all, the guy pays me. He sent me money on Apple. Yeah, after this bit fake fight that he got into with me, and he goes, "Yeah, I paid you," and I'm like, "Oh, cool, great, done." Yeah, there's no fight. I don't care about you. I have no interest in fighting you. Thanks for paying me. I don't want to fight you for money. I just want you to pay me. And then later, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, he comes up to me. He goes, "Hey man, sorry. I thought, I paid you before I came at you, like I was gonna fight you. And I thought that when you asked me if I was guilty, I had already paid you." And he's like, "I thought that you were rubbing it in after I had already paid." I'm like, what are you lying about now? What kind of bullshit are you telling me? His attitude, he made up a lie that after I said, "I'm going to keep texting you," and he walks away, that he immediately paid me, which did not happen. And then I said, are you guilty? Do you feel guilty? In his mind, he's already paid me. This did not happen like this. And then he wanted to fight because I kept bothering him afterwards. It's like, if I hadn't bothered you, dude, you wouldn't have paid me, and then made up the fucking stupid lie that you paid me immediately. It's a bunch of nonsense. But when you're a guy like this, when you're this kind of person, the web of lies that you're weaving is so intricate. He doesn't even know what he's lying about anymore. He's just on the run from everybody, lying left and right. He doesn't know what's happening. Whatever he told the owner was a lie. I promise you. I don't know what it was. "Oh, me and that guy have AIDS." He's just saying weird shit. He's lying to everybody. He doesn't know what's happening. The world is burning behind him. He's just running from the truth all the time. So that's insane. That's an insane story. I did get my money, which is crazy that he ended up paying me. And the show was horrible. But I'm very glad I was booked on it because I got fucking paid $200 by this guy. He owed me the money. Very happy to get it from him. And then I gambled it away the next day. But it was nice to have to gamble. To not lose $200 more than I already lost. I also got this guy to pay me, made him feel incredibly guilty. Watched him almost have like a nervous, ego break. Like I broke his ego so much that he wanted to fight me in the street. Like I ruined him. I had an effect on his personality. He had to take a look at himself in the mirror for 2 seconds during this show. And then I went on stage and did a bit about how I have a gambling addiction. And I'm just going to blow the money anyway. And it didn't matter anyways. I'm just going to lose the money. Oh, that $200, it's gone. I just bet it. I don't even fucking care. I basically did that on stage. I was like, oh yeah, that money you had, worthless to me. It's like dust. It's gone. Which would be pretty humiliating if I was that guy. To be forced to give someone $200 who basically goes on stage and goes, yeah, I'm really bad with money. Which is pretty much what I did. Which is not intentional. That was just a bit that I was doing, that I happened to be doing. The best part of that story, though, is that while that guy is in my face and it looks like we're about to have a fight and people are watching from all different directions in the middle of the lobby of this comedy club, another black guy who I almost got into a fist fight with at an open mic during lockdown years ago walks in as this is happening. So this guy's he's like, you want to take this outside? Another black guy who I almost fought just walks in and sees the whole thing happening. So in this other black guy's mind, he's like, man, Ben fucking hates black guys. Ben's just running around LA starting fights with black comedians. What an asshole Ben is. And that other guy's an asshole. I fucking hate that other guy. And they just happen to be black. It has nothing to do with them being black. I've almost gotten in fights with white people too. I almost got in a fist fight with a white guy who was an ex-professional boxer at an open mic. He almost attacked me on stage. Yeah. People had to hold him back. It was crazy. This is a fun story. So this guy was an ex-professional boxer who was a soap opera actor and a very bad stand-up comic. Nice guy, really nice guy, but he's not a great comic. He literally shot himself in the foot with a gun doing combat training for like a movie or something. And then he went on stage and was doing really bad jokes. He was like, guess I shot myself in the foot, Hell, pretty good, right? And then I went on stage and told him, I was a young comic. I was an idiot. I went on stage and was like, those are some of the worst jokes I've ever heard in my life. And this guy has a hole in his foot. And he just on crutches, he runs up to the stage and people had to hold him back. Like, I could have died. He could have just hit me with a crutch in the face. So I've started fights with white people too. That's all I'm saying. It's not just black comics. It's everybody. All inclusive. So Andre walked in and saw that. And the other best part of that story is that I was like trying to explain to Kelvin Kelvin was just like, Kelvin didn't know what was happening. I don't really, maybe just ready to fight. Maybe he had a long day. I don't know what it was, but I was like, yeah. So like, Sean is about to fight me. He's black. Then Andre walks in. He's a black guy. We almost got in a fight before. And you were like, yeah, and that guy owed you money. I'm like, no, Sean's the guy who owes me money. It was a lot of moving parts, but that's the story. I did get paid. I went on at 1 a.m. Did an open mic because there's an open mic going on during the show. I did the open mic, and then some guy. I love it when comics who have been doing it for a long time get really insecure at bad open mics, so they go on and just give advice. That's actually why I got in the fight with Andre Mulligan, the guy who walked in. Because he went on before me at some horrible open mic. We're in MacArthur Park, one of the worst parks in Los Angeles. There's a hornet's nest above the stage. We're just performing for homeless people. It's meaningless. He goes on stage and goes, all right, guys, some people like riff on the audience. You don't need to do that. Like, just do your material, work on your stuff, guys. Don't you want to get good? Like, he's just giving everybody advice. And I went on and was like, why the fuck are you giving everybody advice? And he tried to attack me. He was holding a tripod like he was going to hit me with a tripod. And now we've never, I say hi to him. He doesn't even look at me. And, I'm not doing great at comedy. I'm really not. I'm disappointed with where I'm at. I'm doing a lot better than him. So I think I win. He's got nothing going on. He was waiting to go out on an open mic at midnight, the Comedy Chateau, and I made $200 from another black guy. I did better. No, but what I was going to say is, when comics have been doing it for a while, go on at really bad open mics, a lot of the time they're so insecure that they're going to bomb, because they're going to bomb. There's no one there. And people are like fucking half asleep. They go on and go like, yeah, guys, it's tough when you start out and then keep pushing and you can do it. It's like, you're not doing it. Why the fuck if you're on this open mic, you're not doing it either. They're giving you this advice like they have it all figured out. It's like, dude, we're in the same place. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, you guys can do it. I'm like, you did not do it. I know who didn't do it. You're on stage in front of 5 people right now. Yeah, if you just keep working, guys, you can do. Like, you lost. You, sir, have lost. Why the fuck are you telling us what to do? I love that. Where are we at time-wise? Great. We're going to do some movie reviews. Have you seen The Last of Us? How much have you seen? Oh, you watched first two episodes? So this is, I'm going to start doing a new segment called Ben Reviews Movies. There's no name, but I'm just going to review some movies. Because I'll do anything. I'm actually going to do a new YouTube show where I talk about my time in prison. Where I went to, because, guys, did you know that I sold prison in Oregon? Or sorry, did you know? I'm getting tired. It's like 2 a.m. Did you know that I sold weed in Oregon? Guys, I grew up in Oregon, and believe it or not, I was white back then. And growing up in Oregon, back then, weed was illegal. Not really, but kind of. And I sold a lot of it, and it wasn't a big deal. But then it was, and I went to jail. And guess what? I'm a comedian. I tell jokes that are like, okay. And now I'm gonna try to sell you those jokes by talking about my time in prison. No, that's Johnny Mitchell. He's doing great. He's just on Flagrant 2. Big congratulations. That's basically like winning an Oscar for a comic who went to jail. It really is. Now I want to review The Last of Us. So, The Last of Us is an HBO show. I've been watching it with my girlfriend. I really didn't expect to like it. I never expect to like a show or a movie based on a video game. Because video games, they're not, like, the stories aren't good. That's the whole point. It's a video game. You're playing the game. Like, I don't want to watch them. I want to watch something written by someone who knows what they're doing. I don't want to watch something that once was like. I don't want to watch something that like a guy with a 13-year-old with pimples on his face gets like addicted to and plays all night long, then turned into a story. It's like the Titanic wasn't a video game where you like try to avoid the iceberg. That wasn't a video game. And the show actually is surprisingly good. I wouldn't call it great because it's not. The main guy, I think he's gay. Not that matters, but that means he's acting pretty well because he's acting like a real dude, like a straight dude. Okay. Here's my honest review of The Last. This is my first time doing this. I'm trying to work it out. The kid's head is shaped weird. She's got a weird head, which is a little much. If I was a producer or a casting director for The Last of Us, I would say, hey, could you maybe find a kid with a less off-putting head? That would kind of help the show. Hey, this is a good premise for a show. I think this has legs. I think we could really do something with this. I like the gay guy. We cast as a straight guy. I like that. Could we maybe find a kid with just like a slightly normal head? And a kid who doesn't look like she has a growth in her forehead? Could we maybe do that? Oh, really? What does the video game character look like? Kelvin's saying that the girl in the video game, normal head. Girl in the show, weird head. What the fuck is up with that? She almost looks like she has a birth defect. And I know I'm going to get comments like, you shouldn't say... You know what I'm saying? What you're thinking. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying what's going on in the recesses of your mind, but you don't want to say it. She is fucked up. No. And she's not a great actress. She's a little annoying. She's growing on me. She's getting a little more charming as the episodes go. I think I just watched episode 6. But I don't love her in the show. I think I do think that the zombies are interesting. The fact that they're fungi, they're made out of mushrooms, and some of them can't see, and their heads are all... I have like weird... I get a weird feeling when I think about the zombies with like the mushroom shit coming out of their heads and then the tentacle things coming out of their mouths. That's good. I mean, that's pretty scary. That's pretty well done. Very off-putting. The acting is a little stilted, just the way that a video game acting would be. Like I used to play the Resident Evil when I was a kid, and they'd always be like, "Oh, that happened back in Raccoon City." You know, it's like everybody's gone from Raccoon City. Remember that? Those are the like video game dialogue was horrible. Oh, good to meet you. And I know everyone's like, not in the new video games. The stories are great. People play video games for the stories. I'm like, if that's the case, they're not doing a good job representing that in The Last of Us. Because when I watch The Last of Us, I kind of see a little bit of like, oh, those are the zombies. There they are. You know, they're actually doing a good job representing video games because it's very stilted the way video game acting was when I used to play video games. Okay, let's head to Kansas City. You know, bad. It's bad acting and bad writing, which is what video games are. You kill people and then it's bad, and then the story's bad, and you're like, oh, that's stupid and bad. Let me go fucking kill some more people. That's the whole point. Oh, let me get through this dumb story so I can go shoot something in the head. Wasn't that the point of video games? Yeah, not like some weird obsessive storyline, like you're the guy in Her playing that video. Remember Her, the movie, where he's playing that video game where he's like just wandering around saying hi to people. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but I think it's good. I don't think it's great. The gay episode was fine. It's not mind-blowing. I think Nick Offerman did a good job, and the guy from White Lotus did well. But it didn't need to be in the show, and it wasn't like perfectly. It wasn't that great a story. Like, oh, there's some supplies there. I don't need to know all this gay shit. Otherwise, oh, those are the gay supplies. That's all I need to know. There once was a gay guy who built a fence around his neighborhood and fought off the zombies. You don't need to spend an hour on that. Doesn't need to be a whole storyline. It's not that well done. It's not, it's not Brokeback Mountain. It's not going to win an Oscar. It's okay. But I'll keep watching and keep telling you what I think. Write in if you have any thoughts on whether or not the main guy is gay. If you have any thoughts on that, is he gay? Please send in, write comments underneath. Otherwise, I don't give a shit. Really, I don't care what you have to say otherwise. But is that guy gay? I'm just curious. Because I think he's a good actor. I watched him on SNL, and I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was very funny on SNL. And I think he's good. I think he's fine in the show. And supposedly he's like the voice of the Mandalorian. Why the fuck do we care about that? He's not even on camera. He's just a voice in space. Who gives a fuck? So my review, I wonder, how should we do this? Letter grades? Or what do you think? 1 out of 10? What's the scale? 1 to 10, A to F, 1 out of 5 stars, 1 star to 5 stars? What do you think? Let's do stars. I'm going to do 1 to 5 stars. I'm going to say, yes, I think that's perfect. The Last of Us, first 6 episodes of The Last of Us, on a 1 to 5 star scale, I'm going to give it a 3.9. It's not fantastic. Anyone who says it's fantastic, what are you watching? What do you even watch? What do you like watching? You just play video games all day and go, oh, this show's... Well, yeah, compared to a fucking video game, it's fine. You ever watch The Sopranos or Succession? Like, watch something good. You watch The Whale, the movie? That's a fantastic movie. You ever watch a Terrence Malick movie? Of course not. You're playing fucking video games all the time. It's fine. 3.9 stars. I'm enjoying it. I keep watching it. If it's, almost 4 stars, I'll keep watching it. And I'll tell you what I think about the next episode next week. I'll just keep doing that. I watched the first 10 minutes of Your Place or Mine, a rom-com starring Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher. You know them? Reese Witherspoon's a blonde lady from Legally Blonde, and Ashton Kutcher is the guy, the male model guy from That 70s Show. You know the facial surgery that Tom Brady had done, buccal fat removal, where his cheeks are gone. It's like this, huh? I'm almost positive that both of them got buccal fat removal surgery, Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher. So you're just watching a show where 2 old people are pretending to be younger than they are, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? How's it good?" What's up, Reese? Oh, hey, Ashton. Watching, it really sucks to watch 2 people fight gravity, fight the aging process. They both look like they're cancer patients. They're like, "Hey, sir, what's that?" Their face is withering away. They look sick. It's like, it's supposed to be this like funny rom-com. Oh, she's in LA, he's in New York. Isn't that cute? I'm like, are they dying? They look like shit. She's got the buccal fat removal surgery to take this stuff out, and then just like tons of Botox. So she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I know all of you are going to be like, "You look like shit." And I'm like, I'm not in a movie. I'm not pretending to look good, you fucking idiots. But you look like shit. Fine. I didn't get a surgery that made me look like shit. This is natural. I look like shit on like the way you're supposed to, naturally. I'm letting the natural shit happen. As you age, you look however you look. Some people look hideous, some people look good. If you think I look hideous, that's fine. At least I didn't pay $10,000 to look like shit. That's what they both did. At least I didn't have things poking my face and then come out and look worse. I didn't do that. That's everybody's response. I go, Reese Witherspoon looks like shit. They go, your hair is falling. I'm like, I know, but it's not. That has nothing to do with this. It's just a fact about Reese Witherspoon. So I watched the first 10 minutes. It's completely unwatchable. It's a horrible movie. It was probably written by like 7 different 22-year-old ghostwriters by Netflix. Netflix paid at least 15 different people $7,000 to contribute to this horrible script. It's the kind of script it was like written in a game of telephone where they're like, and then the end result is incoherent. You have no idea what's happening because no one was paid enough to actually spend any time on the script. It's horrible. I give it -1 stars. Bad movie. Tig Notaro's in it too. She's fine. I don't like her because she threw Louis C.K. under the bus, but she's likable in the movie. I give her 1 star, which is much better than negative 1 star. I don't really have a lot of time on my hands. How are we doing? 55 minutes. We're not doing more than an hour. Kelvin just wants his game the game that Kelvin plays in life is, can I get it down to 0? Can I get the battery down to nothing? That's how you're doing it all. That you're like, can I stay up until 5 a.m? Can we record a podcast at 1 a.m? Can I be 30 miles away and make it somewhere in 7 minutes? Can I do that? That's the game. That's the game of life. The version of the game of life that you're playing, where you try. You're like, how impossible can I make it? Can it be harder than it is now? It's already hard. Calvin's a good guy. He's a good man. That's it for the week. You have any questions? Do you have any dating questions? There's a question that comes to mind. I'll answer it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. No, I don't think so. Here, Kelvin, you say a question.
All right, let's see.
There's got to be something going on with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to check for questions.
Have you ever took too long to respond to a girl after she sends you a message and then think about whether or not it's too long and then she's going to lose interest? Like, I'm talking about a week delay in response.
Okay. I'm about to be a married man. So this is not, I'm not saying this from my personal experience currently. It's in the past. But my answer is, like, in hindsight, I used to think like that. Like, have I waited too long? Does she like that? Does she like that? Is it okay? Will she still like me? Is it okay? Just send her the fucking message anytime you think of it. Doesn't matter. If you wait 2 weeks and you send it to her, you might be surprised. She might respond. What's going to happen if you don't send it at all? Nothing. So you might as well send something. Right? I mean, if you're interested and you feel like you've waited too long, just send a message and say, hey, I was in Portugal. You know, what's going on? I lost my phone. Or don't even make anything up. Just go, hey, I don't fucking really care about you that much, but, like, what's up? Yeah. Hey, I don't care about you too much, but I wouldn't mind having sex tonight. Are you around? Obviously, I don't like you that much, but are you busy? Yeah, that's what I would do. Just be as honest as you're willing to be. Just say what's up. Right? Yeah. And if she doesn't respond, then it did take too long, and you didn't really give a shit anyways because you didn't text her for 2 weeks. Right? I mean, you didn't not text her because you wanted to. You didn't text her because you didn't want to. Yeah, that's fine. It happens. So this has been Ben the Menace. Kelvin's fine. Kelvin's a good man. Please subscribe to my YouTube shorts, which I need to be plugging on my Instagram. Leave a comment that's positive. And could you not make it a backhanded compliment? You're like, oh, this is a great clip. Man, you really could do something with this. You just got to get the energy figured out. But you could really do something as a comment. I'm like, what's up with the energy shit? The fuck are you talking about? You could really do something if you get your energy honed in. What? I don't even know what that means. And I bet that the person who wrote that doesn't even know what that means. What does that fucking mean? And I've heard this from other people. Like, when someone gives you a compliment, especially when it comes to stand-up, they don't want to just compliment you. They want to like cut it. They don't want to be like they don't want to praise you too much. They want to be like, that was really good. But that one joke, I didn't really like it that much. They want to cut the compliment because they're insecure about the compliment. I think. I don't know. Or the guy is just a piece of shit. I don't know what the deal is. Check out my YouTube channel, YouTube Shorts. Please like and subscribe to my podcast on YouTube. If you watched it this far, you better have subscribed because this is an hour. If you've watched me talk for an hour and you're not subscribed, what the fuck is wrong with you? You obviously like this, or else you would, or you hate me so much that you're going to keep watching. So subscribe. Yeah, shows. I'm hosting at Laughs in Tucson on March 3rd and 4th. Kelvin's coming with. I'm going to bring him on stage. I'm going to get Kelvin a prostitute in Arizona. They're legal. No, they're not legal. We're going to the casino. We're going to have a good time in Arizona. So come on out to Arizona. That's really all that I have coming up. If you're hiring for jobs in Texas, I'm willing to move, or New York, either one. Please let me know. And if you've watched this deep into the podcast, why wouldn't you hire me? You're obsessed with me. Follow my TikTok and fucking buy my scripts if you're a producer. You know, send me money on Venmo if you're just weird and want to send me money. Ben Herwitz on Venmo. That's it. Tune in for more next week. Thank you for watching. I love and appreciate you. Kelvin feels okay about you. All right, guys. Thank you.